I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.
We hear a lot of stories of artists and how kind of like some of them kind of get pimped in the industry over their expenses. Like, you know, the record label, they're going to pay for this, they're going to pay for that. And then a few years later, you hear about these deals. People are upset. They're upset about, oh, I didn't know that that was covered in that. I didn't know about this 360 deals and everything like that. But it was the fact that that segue is what brought you in there. You saw the benefits that this lady was receiving being a part of that record label. You saw her benefiting from being able to get those expenses and not actually having to be an artist to receive those things. So that's really cool that that's how you were able to break into the industry, saying, okay, I want to figure out how they can start paying for my stuff, because I'm pretty sure that is what was going through your head, correct?
Absolutely. You know, when you think about, I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at your money, right, it's about, you know, how much your money you can maintain, and someone else pay for your lifestyle is really what we're talking about, right? And obviously performing a talent, right, or performing a duty that's required for doing that. Nothing is free. Like you was intimating about artists and how they wind up, you know, at the end of a journey and wind up with nothing. Well, I mean, that comes with respect of money, though. You got to understand it, because nothing is free, right? And I think we as minorities and Black folks and African Americans, right, is that we just happy about the opportunity as opposed to what the consequence. When you think about the consequence, you don't have to take everything somebody gives you. Your mama tell you that, grandmama tell you that, right? Everything ain't for you, right? But when you get emotionally attached, then you make decisions, you know, that may not be best for you. It's just, you know, decisions that you make because you want to be a part of something and you relinquish too much, right? You should never decide to do anything under duress, right? Just take a moment. And duress is not, you know, a gun to your head. Duress is like, I'm emotionally, you know, just excited, right? And when in those situations, you should always take a step back.
Looking at it kind of like from that Master P perspective instead of just taking the money.
That's right. That's right.
They offered me the million.
What are you gonna get? What are you getting? Somebody gonna give you $1 million, what, to make two? Nah, B.
Not at all.
Nah, like, come on. You know that.
Jared, you got something?
Yeah, I did want to go kind of like a question back into what you had said. So you had said it usually took a 4-week cycle. And so with that, you meant like a marketing cycle that y'all had to promote the artist?
Absolutely. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I don't hear a lot of people talk about the actual marketing that has to go into music to make these artists. So like, could you expound on that a little bit more?
So if you think about when you discover an artist, right, it's in your terms and at your time and however it's been presented to you in your space, right? So it's a new experience. That doesn't mean that that artist hasn't been around, right? So now in modern day, you know, normally when you're starting to see mass marketing, or it's on your radar, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music or, you know, or YouTube, and wherever you are at your discovery point, right? That artist has already been setting his or herself up, right, in order to be in the right spaces for discovery. And that process could be anywhere from, you know, zero, the artist that you see now could be 0 to 3 years, right? 4 to 5 projects. And when you finally get it, what's the first thing you do? When you find something you like, you go back to see what it was and who they are, and you're discovering them that you didn't even know about. So that cycle, right, was kind of different when I started, because we actually controlled all of the gatekeepers, right? So now with music, you know, the middle guy or the label is more of a finisher than they are a creator. Like, so if you don't have a vision for yourself coming to a label, then it's very difficult for a label to move you forward, right? You might get lucky. You have to come in with your brand and identity and how you see yourself, and the label can then put fuel on that fire and ramp it through.
So with these labels, that like this, they're taking this initial investment, they putting it into these artists, and it may take this cycle. So like, can we talk about like what is it exactly like that the label is getting out of this? Like, what are some of the like the recoupable expenses that they're getting, and just kind of like how they profit more from the artist than what they're paying them at the time?
Well, ultimately, it just comes down. I mean, if you really think about it, it's not even that complex. It's simple mathematics, right? The label's putting up all of the money, right? Just like your bank. Think about it as a home, right? They're giving you a loan, right? And at the end of the day, you come to the bank and you go, hey, listen, I got a good job, right? Me and my lady, and we're gonna commit to this for 30 years. And at the end of the day, if you fall short, right, the bank is at risk of you're at risk of losing your product, and the bank is at risk of not getting their money, right? But ultimately, they'll get the asset in the event that you default. And so it's no different with an artist. The label is the bank. So whatever deal you structure with the bank, right? If it pops, it's great, right? So now you have to deal, why it's so sensitive in the beginning, what percentage of my success am I banking on, right? And the leverage only becomes when you walk in the door. That's why it's better to create a little more momentum for yourself than coming in ice cold. Hey, the four of us get together, we rapping, somebody signs us. Oh, we gotta give up everything. They taking all the risk, right? But if you coming in, you streaming, or you touring, or you selling merch, yo, that's a whole different conversation and leverage, right? So ultimately, you know, what's recouped is based on what's spent, right? So if you think about it, once you get into your business, yo, you know what? You might structure your deal different. I want everything approved through me, but you need leverage through that, right? You can't spend $1 without coming to see me first, right? Or you have certain expenses that you can do without me. So it's just structuring your deal is more important than, you know, the knit and grit of, you know, for the level of conversation for folks on here, right? It's always about just doing good business. And music is no different than anything else we do in life, right? And how you approach it. There's no reason why you should go to a label if you don't have a lawyer. And your lawyer should be a music business lawyer. Your lawyer should not be a tech lawyer. Your lawyer should not be a real estate lawyer, right? Your lawyer shouldn't be a textile lawyer. Your lawyer should be somebody good in music, right?
Not a lawyer that works for the label.
Just a lawyer because he a lawyer, or your people because I'm trying to save money, right? Yo, when you go into the hospital for life-saving care, you're not thinking about how much it costs. You want your life saved, right? So when you're sitting at the table with your deal, you should think of your lawyer like that. Save a little more money then, because you need the best lawyer who's going to help you, that's going to move you through and educate yourself. Because lawyers, you got to think about it. It's no different than anything else as well, right? When you think about banking, or you think about lawyers, or you think about, you know, like specialist doctors, you're a one-off, right? Until you create the relationship. So they're not vested in you, right? So they're going to do good business. And if you don't know what to ask for in any of those aspects, in music specifically, then you don't know what to get. So don't just go because my lawyer says so. Well, your lawyer just doing his job. And they may, right? Once again, it's no different than like being in the court system, right? DA and prosecutors, right? Like, think about it. When your lawyer comes in, is this why people get either the best lawyer or outside lawyer? Because all of them in cahoots together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You just getting convicted. Well, yo, you're going to trial one time. They got to see these guys, yo, at Roof Chris. You know what I mean? They gotta go, go to the Senate. They got to do all of that. So you not really as you would hope, right? That your priority, and let's give the benefit of the doubt because everyone's not the same. And this is not one broad swath, but you know, you would hope that people always have your professional people have your best interests. And that's why it's important for you to know your business on what to ask, because you're interviewing people that come in your camp. You're not hiring, right? You're interviewing them because they have to be on your side in anything you do.
Yeah, you hitting on a lot of stuff that I kind of want to dive into, but I kind of want to take it back a little bit and get back to the story of after you got that, after you got that internship, what was it like, that next step from that internship? How did you, once you said, okay, this is what I really want to do, how did you attack it and really just go full force?
So my motto's been, since I started working, was to outwork everybody, right? So I literally, like all the things you heard in high school or heard in college, right? The first one in, last one out. You know, always be prepared for the opportunity. and I committed myself to that. Like I threw myself into the business in educating myself on what the business is about. I cut my bones in doing radio promotions, as I stated to you, and I spent a lot of time in developing concepts and programs for Motown Records for the various artists at that time. Was Boys II Men and Shanice Wilson and artists like that, and realized that this was something I really wanted to do. And what Motown provided, right? Because each situation provides a different element for growth, right? It was one, it enabled me being at an African American company at the beginning of my career, gave me the comfort of being at home. But you know how we are, we hard on ourselves, right? So the network of folks, they loved me, they saw talent, and they pushed me, right? I didn't do it on my own. I didn't get here by myself, right? It was about the mentoring and being a good mentee, right? Always asking questions and being humble, right? And people invite you in different rooms. Like people will bring you around, and that what was most important, and being honest and true. Like the music business can expose you to a lot of things, but you should be the same person going into the business, any business, that you would be once your gig is up, right? And I think that's what people were drawn to me was integrity, and that's what helped move me from label to label. Spending time at Motown was like the education, and it was a great education because it was some of the best Black talent in the business at that point, right? And being around those people, just sitting in the rooms, or either overhearing or either asking questions, set me up for my next move, which I moved on to Perspective Records, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's label, and spent a year there, and did their street team marketing and lifestyle promotions for them. And then I left there and went to Arista Record in Washington, D.C. And I was a regional promoter there, right? And it was great. Another, opportunity I thought that was quite amazing. Growing up in the suburbs of New York, White Plains, it's diverse. Probably then it was more 70% white, 30% African American, and other mixed in. And when I moved to DC, was profound because I never had the opportunity of seeing just successful Black folks, right? Washington D.C. back then, man, like you had Black tailors, Black banks, right? Black bookstores, everything you could go and do your business, right? And look at somebody across the table who was just like you. And I thought that was quite intriguing. And that gave me a whole new thrust on how to approach, like, moving through this business. Left there, went to back to New York and got a big shot as the national director of promotions for MCA Records in New York. Left there and went west with the company and got a really big job as the senior vice president of promotions. And that opportunity opened up a lot. I worked 4 albums after 411 for Mary J. Blige. All My Life, Casey and JoJo, that staple song. Shaggy, It Wasn't Me, right? And this little artist, probably at every wedding song now, Jesse Powell, You, put that record on my back. And that was the record that really defined me as someone that would be, one of the noticeable promoters of modern day. Was that record, which defined me as a talent in the business. And then moved on from there and went to Def Jam in 2003. Was brought in to manage their promotions and marketing department, and that was an incredible run. Where came out of Young Jeezy, DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, Mariah, Emancipation of Mimi, was Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber, Neo, right? And that was probably one of the most profound runs in modern day music on, we walked into the business at a 2.3 market share. And when we left, our team had taken Def Jam, which was ice cold, to 11% market share, which obviously revenue increases share to share to share to share, right? So that was key. And I left there and went to Epic Record, where had an opportunity working along with LA to sign my first really big notable artist at this point, Future. Signed Yo Gotti, I signed Cash Out. Riding Around with That Nina, he was a fun, that was a fun record.
That was a hit.
That was one of the things, like, those are the kind of projects that keep you young, right? We also had 21 Savage, and Travis Scott was a part of that. And, that run as well. And left there and went to Rock Nation, which, we, the team and I, we created EQ Distribution, organized, the company and the music end of things, and had a great run with them, and decided at that point, like, you know what, it's after all of the decades of being in music, if you think about it, what the contribution, we as executives, right, we just like prize fighters, they get your best years, and it's like, what do you have in the end? Mm-hmm. And before my legs got too tired, I decided, like, yo, you know what, I want to take a shot. You can identify talent. I've identified executives, right? And now what I don't have was equity in the game, right? In the music piece. Like, there's a difference between making a great, and the game has been wonderful, right? Like, compensation has been great, right? But what does that matter if it stops the day you stop, right? That big check come a real small check fast, right?
Hell yeah, right? Especially whenever your expenses is more than what's coming in.
Yeah, but more importantly, like, the music business is a very specific niche of executives that, are overly compensated. I mean, they're like NBA players, like, the people who are making it, right? And then there's middle tier, and then there's, just like anything else, the people in the back room, right? Mm-hmm. The people that make it work, that only making like $35,000 a year, right? But they're the ones that keep the engine going. And I decided, like, you know what, I want to get my, I want to take my shot at it, right? And that's when I stepped out and decided to do Diverse Media, full-fledged distribution, and take a swing at it, right?